What's up, rock stars? Welcome back. What you can expect to learn in today's show is how to build a shameless personal brand through social media, specifically focusing on Instagram, what to post, when to post, and how to get picked up by the algorithm, and the apps and tools behind the scenes to make that happen. You've likely heard of our guest today. Her name is Gogo Bethke. She's that bright pink branded, blonde, sassy, confident real estate agent on Instagram. She has sold 80 million in production and earned the title of top 3% realtor nationwide. And after years in production, she doubled down on her social media presence to build her brand. She's been coined by many as the social media queen, and she is omnipresent with 1 million impressions monthly. Real estate rock stars, welcome Gogo. Gogo. You have personally sold over 80 million in real estate. You have come to the US from Romania, no sphere of influence, English as a second language, and only $6 to your name. And you've also attracted over 100 agents personally and 1,200 agents total to your brokerage. And you did these things by using social media. So if you were starting social media today over from the ground up on all platforms, no subs, no followers, but you still had all of the experiences that you've gained over the years, what would you do?
I would do the same thing that I did. Like literally build a brand around myself, right? Like we are not selling houses, guys. We are selling ourselves and our services. The question is, in the end of the day, why should Joe Schmo over there use me versus using you as a realtor, right? That's what we are selling in the end of the day. And that is building a brand for yourself. So number one, build a brand. Number two, what I would learn faster. It took me a long time. I tried to push every button myself instead of using automation, instead of using VAs. So I would strongly recommend to hire your VA from day one and use all of the automations. Like pay that $20 some to ManyChat every single month, pay that $20 some to ChatGPT every single month, because it's going to make your life so much easier. And also is because if you don't learn technology, you're going to be out of business. Like you cannot be a dinosaur anymore. Like the good old ways, how we used to do deals, it doesn't work anymore. Like if I try to fax an offer right now, like good luck. And that's how I used to fax offers, right? When I started out. So you have to stay on top of technology, but really the basics is the same, like brand building and, shameless self-promotion as I call it, because bragging, it kind of has a little bit of negative tendency to it, but shameless self-promotion is like, I'm not promoting anything that's not true. I achieved that. I worked very hard for it. And so the faster agents can learn that we are in the people business and we are promoting ourselves and use some technology, really, that's the perfect concoction.
And having, spoken to you before, I believe that Facebook was the platform that you originally took to build that personal brand for yourself. If you were starting over today, would you still do Facebook, or which platforms, and how would you get to that shameless self-promotion?
So you have to exist everywhere. Now, I'll be honest, like I have a TikTok account. I never logged in. I don't even have TikTok downloaded on my phone. Do I exist on TikTok? Yes. So pretty much what we do is I want you to find out what is your home. Where is your social media home? So for me, it's Instagram. I know Instagram inside out. I know every button. I can make a post with my eyes closed, right? So everything I do, I create content on Instagram, but then I have assistants and they take that content and then they send it everywhere else. So they send it to the Facebooks, the Facebook groups that we manage, the TikToks, the YouTubes, the LinkedIn's, you name it. I exist everywhere. So what I want you to do, again, back to the initial conversation, get help, get VAs, get assistants. Number one, create the content wherever you feel most comfortable with. So you absolutely have to own your brand on all platforms. So I am Gogo's Real Estate or Gogo Bethke on every single platform. You must own your own.com. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to have a Facebook account for your brand. You're going to have an Instagram account for your brand. You're going to have a TikTok account for your brand. You're going to have a LinkedIn account for your brand. You're going to own the .com. You're going to have your matching email address, everything for your brand. You're going to figure out which one is your home. For me, it's Instagram. Create the content there. Hire VAs where they can plaster that content everywhere. Key, don't give access, don't give them your password to any of these accounts. Give them an admin access or editor access. So that's a little side note.
Okay. So if I'm on this brand part, if, I'm bought in, I want to build a personal brand and I understand the idea of shameless self-promotion, but I feel like I don't have anything to promote. Is there, what would you say? Because you did start from nothing with zero sphere of influence, and we're still able to build this brand with 80,000 followers on Instagram. So what would you say to those who don't have anything to share?
Everyone always has something to share. Everyone is always 2 steps ahead of the person who's 2 steps behind you, right? So I don't want you to think you have nothing to share. It's just that you didn't slow down enough to figure out what do you know compared to somebody else. So the way I would do this is initially I really had said nothing to share because I knew nothing. I was brand new in the industry, right? So I used this system called SSS, Sunday Systems for Success. So every Sunday I would sit down and I would fill out lunches or coffee meetings with people, right? And I would start with the industry experts. So I would invite lenders, title companies, appraisers, inspectors, painters, like, movers, like anybody that had anything to do with the real estate transactions to try to understand real estate from their perspective, right? A, and then B, to have really good relationships with these parties. So when I finally do have these transactions, I know exactly where to send them, who to get the deal to the finish line, right? And so what I would recommend, do the SSS every Sunday, sit down and fill up your calendar, or for lunches, dinners, drinks, coffee, whatever you can afford. Initially, I only had coffees because coffee was $3 versus lunch was $14, and I didn't have $14. I had 3. Right. So if you don't have the money, just invite them for coffee and do a 9 o'clock coffee every Monday and a 10 o'clock coffee every Monday. You're going to be super caffeinated. But in that conversation with that local expert, you're going to learn something about the industry. Right. And right after that meeting, you're going to create a video. Guess what I learned today? Did you know? Create a video. Did you know? Because you're going to learn something from that industry expert. Right. So then what happens is when those words that you just learned leave your lip, it makes you the expert. So the more of those videos you create, the more of that knowledge that leaves your lip, and you teaching the local community about appraisals and inspections and mortgage rates and, refinance and all of these different things that you're learning, it automatically makes you the expert. So if you don't have what to talk about, if you don't have the knowledge, go for the knowledge. Go meet those local experts, take their knowledge, turn it into video content, and that's going to make you the expert.
Yeah. And if you do have imposter syndrome, which I've gone through before, where it's like, who am I to be the expert? Having those coffees and talking to someone who is actually like the subject matter expert in that industry, and then sharing versus this is how you do it. It's more of like, this is what I learned from this expert. It really takes away some of that imposter syndrome and allows you to like share more naturally.
Exactly. So it's not an imposter. I think imposter syndrome would be something like, let me teach you how to build a house. Like, no, I don't know how to build a house, right? I'm not saying to teach people how. I'm sharing what I learned, which made me smarter today. So let me help you to get smarter today. So that's not an imposter syndrome anymore. People ask me all the time, how come you can speak Gogo for hours on stage? Because I'm not talking about anything I haven't done the work for. It's super easy to talk about things that you actually been there, done that. Now, if you ask me how to do scripts and role play with an ISA department, I'm going to be like, sorry guys, I got nothing. Like, I don't do that. Don't ask me. I'm not an expert in that field. So you really only feel like an imposter if you don't know what you're talking about. So when you go out and you learn this from somebody else, you took their life experiences and that gave you knowledge in return, that is truly a knowledge that's in your head right now. You know that. So you're not an imposter anymore. You just learned it.
How long did it take you to get, obviously, what was the first year you started building your brand? 2011? Yeah. Okay, gotcha. And when did you shift from Facebook to Instagram as being your primary?
So probably, I would say about 4 or 5 years in. So I started seeing some success. My first year, guys, I made $16,000. Good go me. Like, I probably spent more on gas and my fees, right, for real estate. So I wasn't like successful from the get-go. I wasn't that success story that sold 100 homes in the first year, right? Like, I was slower at learning. So it took me about my third year, I say I was considered a top producer. So year 4 and 5, my head was about spinning. And I figured on Facebook, most of my followers were my past clients. They were people who wanted to buy or sell, right? Because that was my target audience. So I didn't want to like vent to the people that or my current clients about how annoying my other clients are, right? So then I figured I'll take my pity party over to Instagram, and I talk mostly to the realtor industry, the good, bad, and the ugly of real estate and what it actually takes to be successful in real estate. So Instagram, my target audience changed. On Instagram, my target audience became the next realtor because they were the one who understand my pain. I don't know why I didn't think that my clients can follow me on both. in my mind, I'm like, Facebook is for the clients, Instagram is for the agents. And so I took my party over to Instagram. I do love Instagram way more, especially now that I own so many Facebook accounts and so many, like I'm one of the largest Facebook real estate related groups called REC USA, Real Estate Community USA, with almost 500,000 members. Just the notifications from that one account alone is like blows my Facebook up. And you can't go between accounts anymore. All your notifications are under one login. And I'm like, I can't. So I just gave up on Facebook recently. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still post and all that, but I just don't check any of the notifications, any of the DMs. My VAs do that. But on Instagram, I check every single message myself personally.
Okay, so Facebook for past clients, your forward-facing business, really. And then Instagram started out as a venting place to talk to agents. And then I believe it evolved to attracting agents to your brokerage and community. So I guess with that, can you talk about that evolution? Because there's a lot of people out there who are producing, maybe they're top producers and they are, feeling those things that you wanted to bitch about on Instagram. Why did you transition to attracting a different avatar?
This is crazy you asking this question, because yesterday I answered this question on another podcast, and it's kind of crazy how God works. So I feel like sometimes as we're going through life, we don't really see the plan. Right? We're just kind of going along with whatever our life has in store today. But when we look back, that's why it says hindsight is 2020. When we look back, we realize, oh, God prepared me for that. Right? So not knowing. So I probably started doing Instagram and talking to the agents 4 years in. I got licensed in 11. So about 2015. Right? Well, I didn't switch to EXP until 2018 at the end of the year. So almost another 3-4 years went by. Then I really just was talking to the agents, because that's where I love helping agents to get where they are to where they want to go if I already been there, right? Like that's like my favorite thing to do. So God prepared me for it. So I already was talking to the agents. There was already a platform that was building. So when I switched to EXP, it was my number one goal to build a downline and organization, because I was already a top producer. So I didn't need more help with that. I needed help with retirement and I needed help with passive income. So that's the reason. Those are the two reasons why I switched to EXP. So when I switched, and by the way, I attracted over 240 agents, not 100 personally. So we need to update that. And over 1,300 agents now in the overall organization. So pretty much the plan was in place. I just didn't know what plan I was on, right? So not knowingly, I built an infrastructure. I built a community on my Instagram. And then when I made the switch over to EXP, it was just very organic that many of those people that I built a trust with over the years ended up following me.
Okay, gotcha. And so to dig a little deeper into Instagram, because I know that is your platform of choice. I know looking ahead, this is 2024 now, and we are looking towards trends. People talk about algorithm. People talk about, different types of reels and what content you should be posting. Can you hit us with what is working now in Instagram?
Reels, of course. Video is always going to do hundreds and hundreds of times better than picture, and picture is going to do better than a flyer, right? With letters on the screen. So video is number one, Reels. And I would say 80 to 90% of the time you have to be in it. So if you go to like an Alex Hermosi's page, like go look at his page, like he's in every single video. If you look at Gary Vee, he's in every single video and every single post. You look at Tony Robbins, every single post. You look at Grant Cardone, every single post, right? So number one, we have to learn that we are promoting us. I'm selling me all day, every day. I'm selling Gogo Bethke for a podcast, for join me at EXP, to buy my bootcamp, to do this, to do that, invite me. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything I do is revolves around Gogo Bethke. So number one, video. Number two, be in the video. Number three, hire it out, because you do not have, okay, let me tell you which part to hire out. You cannot hire out the part of you being in the video. And you kind of can actually. Go check out this new app, AI, called HeyGen. HeyGen. So HeyGen allows you to upload a couple videos of yourself, and then over time, the AI is going to take your face and your lips, and you can type up whatever you want and the video will say it. But until we figure out how to use that technology, you have to be in every single video. So that's number one. Hire a VA who can create these videos for you. Number two. Number three, be consistent. So just like everything else you do. So if you're a cold caller and you dial every morning from 8 to 11, then if you decide to do social media, then you're going to post every day. When you're doing it on a business page, so everything I'm talking about, it is not a personal page. It has to be a business page so you can see your own algorithm. When you see your own algorithm, what that means is behind it, you see the back end of your social media business, right? You're going to see who's looking at your profile. Are they man or woman? What's the average age? Where are they located? What time of the day? So now then you know what time of the day, and it says the most traffic on on your account, in my case, is between noon and 3 o'clock. When do you think I should make my post?
11:59.
There you go. Your
Nailed
post
it.
Exactly. Your post should be ready right around noon because that is your biggest exposure. Also, not only what time, what day and what time. So for me, it's a Tuesday or Wednesday, noon to 3. My Saturdays and Sundays, my exposure is super small because I'm a business account. Most people don't care about the real estate business on a Sunday. They're spending the time with family. So if I had, let's say, a big promotion for an event or my boot camp, right? Or my Gogo webinars, when do you think I should make it? Sunday at 10 in the morning while everybody's at church? No, because I'm not going to have exposure, right? So you have to handle it as a business, but really do reels, B-rolls are super in right now. So what's a B-roll? A B-roll is a video where you're still in it, but you're not necessarily talking directly to the camera. So if you go to my profile on Gogo's Real Estate 2 days ago or so, I did a video where I'm literally standing next to my fridge on the phone with my CPA. My phone is attached to the wall because it was literally dying because I got a letter from the IRS and I owed $73,000. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't. I pay quarterly. Thank you so much. So then I had to dial my team and we had to drop everything and go find all the payments and send it to the IRS proof as that I paid, right? So with that being said, I'm literally just standing there at the fridge, holding the phone and talking. I'm not even looking at the camera that's videotaping me, right? And then I took that, it's a side angle of me, and I took that, put some music to it and talked about what just happened with the IRS situation. That's a B-roll. I'm not talking directly to the camera. I'm not even looking at the camera. You're just kind of watching me doing something that almost has nothing to do with real estate. Does that make sense? But in the message has everything to do with real estate. So B-rolls are super in right now. When you just take a snippet of yourself, also because you can put those on a loop. So if you think about if I take a 7 to 10 second video, right? It's just 10 seconds, right? But I do a very long write-up, like about a concept of something that's going to take you 3 minutes to read it. That video is going to loop until you get to the end of the message. So then Instagram says, oh, this video, people watch this video over and over and over and over and over again. It messes with the algorithm. So then they're going to promote it for everybody else as well. So the shorter the video, the catchier the headline, the longer the description, and the longer you can keep them on your page, the more it's going to play it on loop. It's going to mess with the algorithm and it's going to push it to everyone.
Yeah, I think that that's something that a lot of people who are posting on Instagram might struggle with. It's like they are posting content, but the people who follow them currently are maybe like friends, family, past clients, like maybe, but it's not really their target audience of who they're trying to attract. You know, if the intent of posting on social media is to generate more clients within their business. And so I think the question is, I hear often is like, how do I get my content in front of more people? How do I end up in the Explore or on their scrolls? And do you have any advice on how to get the algorithm to push your content, to bring in fresh eyes onto your page?
Really, guys, it's so simple. Don't be boring. If you're boring and you post boring stuff, how much the interest rates are and how to buy a house where every other realtor and the market reports that nobody cares about, then nobody's going to follow you. It's really that simple. So when you go to if you want to make it onto the Explore page, go to the Explore page and see who's on there and what are they posting, and then copy and paste. Like literally, I'm not saying take their video. I'm saying recreate that concept with you in the video and post it.
Okay, you mentioned Hey Jen, which I recently discovered too, and I think is super cool. And you also mentioned ManyChat, which I know you've talked about before, but could you talk about your favorite tech tools that you are using now or plan to use this upcoming year?
Oh gosh, I couldn't do it without technology. So these 3 words, you have to write them down somewhere where you can see them all the time. I live my life by these 3 words. So number 1, if you can't automate it, delegate it. And if you can't delegate it, eliminate it. So automation is number 1 steps. If I can remove a human doing the same thing over and over again in their everyday job, and I have 17 assistants, that is my goal. So number 1 automation tool, I would say ChatGPT. If you don't, oh, by the way, anybody listening here, if you go to my profile, Gogo's Real Estate on Instagram, and you comment the word tools on any of my posts, so go to any of my posts and comment tools, you're going to get all of these literally direct links to all of these applications that I'm going to mention. So number 1 would be ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT like it's my best friend. I ask it questions. I ask me to give me bullet points for my post. I ask me to give me a catchy headline, write me an email, whatever that you can think about. I can tell it, hey, I'm doing a business presentation. Give me content for 4 consecutive meetings. I want the first meeting to be about this, the second meeting to be about that. Like literally, you can use ChatGPT however you see it fit into your business. It's just like your assistant, but it's smart. It's amazing. So that's ChatGPT. The second one is ManyChat. ManyChat allows you to do automations, right? So for example, just this automation that I told you, go to my account and comment the word tools, right? That's an automation. So I have a keyword set up in my ManyChat that's called tools. Every time my automation recognizes the word tools in a comment or in a DM, it automatically sends a follow-up message and says, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you heard me talk somewhere and here's the tools that I was talking about. Right? And then, so there's a message that goes along automatically out of my account. So you watch me here. I'm not doing anything. I'm talking to you, but people that are listening right now, I send the message. They got the message. So they get a message and then they get a link. And that link is pretty much the information they're looking for. So they get a direct link to ManyChat, a direct link to ChatGPT, a direct link to, you name it, all of the different tools that I love using. So ManyChat, not only that it allows you to automatically get back to people. So I have a lot of keywords set up. Think of your business of like, what are the different pillars that you can automate something in your business? So what are the different ways how I make money? I make money when buyers work with me. So I have a keyword for buyer. I make money when sellers work with me. So I have a keyword for seller. I make money when I like right here, the tools, right? Like I wanted to automate it. So we have the tools. I make money when I pitch my Go Get On webinar membership. So I say, you say webinar, they get the link. I make money when I do my retreats. If they come and retreat, they get the link to my retreat. I make money when agents partner with me, right? So then I say, comment the word partner. The automation goes out right away. So I want you to look at your business. What are the ways how you can make money? And you should have an automated keyword with the message and a link directly for that. On Instagram, we cannot post a link. So for example, today I have my webinar with Krista Mishra at 2:00 live, right? If I talked about it in my feed, I have nowhere to send you. Like I can't say click the link because you can't click a link on Instagram. I can't put it into the description, right? So that means I have to take you off of my Instagram and take you somewhere, but how? In the past, we had to say click the link in my bio. Right? And then every time you have to change the link out in your bio, right? Now you can say the word webinar and the link's going to be sent to you, right? So that's what ManyChat allows you to do is A, it allows you to automate things, but B, it allows you to take your traffic off of Instagram and take them to a website where you want them to go, where they can actually subscribe or sign up with you or jump into your calendar or buy a house or sell a house or whatever they want to do. That's ManyChat.
Yeah, I recently went to the Traffic and Conversion Summit in Vegas last week. So it was all about like digital marketing. And one of the things that blew my mind was the fact that, and you already mentioned this today, where it's like the goal of the platform is to keep users on the platform. And so I used to, in my stories, share links that took users off the platform. And what I realized in Traffic and Conversion Summit is every time that you promote a link in a story or in a post that takes the user off the platform, Instagram will not promote that content to the same level that it would if it's keeping users on the platform. And so ManyChat is so smart because the Instagram does not penalize you if you take users off the platform via DMs. And so if you can get the algorithm to think that, you have a lot of engagement through directing them comment for this free value, your lead magnet, that takes them directly to engagement in the DMs, which is by Instagram's measures, the most powerful form of engagement because they see it as hyper personal. And then from the DMs, pointing them to, the different ways that you can make money by providing all this free value. It's like genius.
Yeah, but they're still smart enough though. I mean, Instagram has a very smart algorithm and they're smart enough to know that your DMs are automated and not individually responded. So they don't like that either. What they really like is you to take the time and respond back to everybody in different message. So as soon as a message comes in, a message goes back out, they know it's an automation, right? So they still penalize you for that just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But it's
better than nothing, right?
It's better for us because, hey, if you want to do something right, like when I was at EXPCon and I was teaching the agents how to do this for the buyers and sellers from stage. So I said, hey, if you want to watch my automation, just comment the word buyer and just comment the word seller, and you're going to see my direct response of how I handle my buyers and sellers. I literally sent 6,000 messages in 10 seconds. Nobody can do that. No human can do that. It's physically impossible. This is why we need automations. So if you want to grow your accounts to like humanly impossible levels, you need technology. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck on smaller levels. Yeah.
Is ManyChat only on Instagram?
No, you can set it up for Facebook as well. So you can set it up where when you're setting up your keywords, it's going to ask you can do it multiple ways. It's going to ask you if you want just comments or just DMs or both. And then it's going to ask you if you want just Instagram or just Facebook or both. So when you're setting up your keywords, you can set it up both. So for example, my partner with me board. So when I say comment the word partner, if you want to partner with me at EXP, like my partner, I don't have it set up I think it's set up, but I always say DM me the word partner, because nobody's going to want the world to know that they want to switch brokerages, right? So they're not going to comment that, but they'll DM it, but they're not going to want to comment it. So just keep in mind, like, do you want what you are asking them to do? Is that something that the world can see or should see? Or is it something that is not necessarily a public answer, right? So if it's not a public answer, then have them DM that word to you and set up your keywords for DMs only.
In your business, you mentioned that you have 17 assistants, and I'm curious because right now, you were talking about setting up and thinking through what you want the users to do. Are you still like the primary brain for ideas and direction as to what happens and what you want your avatar to do? Or is that part been outsourced in any way to your team?
So the ideas and thinking is still, I would say, 90% mine, 10% them. I wish it was a different percentage, but it's not yet. Also, they need to understand. So my VAs, the oldest VA that's been working with me has been now with me for 3.5 years. So it takes time for people to figure out not only who you are, but how you work and the direction that you're going to, right? Like if you think about most people will get a 3 to 6% raise and they're mostly on the same level of their life, right? Like I more than double my business every year. I open 2 or 3 businesses every year. Like I'm all over the place and we are always running with 1 million miles a minute. So my people barely have the time to think for themselves, right? And they're literally just getting stuff done. But what I started different this year is that I started paying for their education. So instead, when I want something, instead of me going and figuring out ManyChat, I'm like, hey guys, ManyChat is the direction where we are going. I don't have the time to go figure it out. Here's a course I bought, log in and learn it, and you're going to be setting everything up for me. I also incentivize them if they come up with good ideas. So if they come up with an idea that we love and we do, then I give them some sort of a bonus, right? So this way they think about it, they care about where the business is going, they care about their job to automate because they are the one who have to be doing the work every day. So they should care about the automation because it's going to make their life easier, right? So really the only difference this year, and I started seeing the results in, is that I started paying for their education for these online courses, and they go and they learn, and then they have something to bring to the conversation.
Yeah, the reason why I brought up that how much are you doing in regard to ideas and thinking is because I know that there's a lot of agents out there who, maybe they don't like social media, or maybe they're like too busy to build their personal brand and whatever. Those are objections. But I do know that the next line of thought is normally like, well, I'll just outsource all of it as much as possible. Someone else can handle it. But I think based on our conversation and that your entire goal is building your own personal brand, that outsourcing is damn near impossible.
I mean, you can don't get me wrong. I'm not setting up keywords in ManyChat. I'm not setting up my own chat GPT, and I'm not coming up with the emails that are going out weekly. Like I have people for that. I come up with ideas, but then they're going to make it happen. So if I come up with the idea of ManyChat, they're going to set it up. They're going to use it every day. They're going to do all the automation. I just say, hey guys, I need a new automation for the board tools. And I want you to say, I'm so excited that you're thinking about systems and processes in your business. Here are the tools that I use. I do a lot of voice notes.
Yeah.
So I just give them the message and they set it up. For example, I just hired a reel editor. I've been doing most of my reels. I just hired a full-time reel editor, and his job is going to be to take all of the content that I have hundreds, if not, probably thousands. I have thousands of hours of videos of me speaking on stages, traveling, my TV show, all the million podcasts, like a ton. There's so much content that is not being used, right? So I literally hired a reel editor, and his full-time job this first month with me is just to study me. He's not going to create reels for me. He's just going to study me. He's going to come to every meeting. He's going to watch my YouTube and get to the end of it. He's going to watch all of the podcasts. He's just going to study me so that he can understand who I am, how I talk. Eventually, in a month and a half, he's going to creating all of the reels. He's going to create it. He's going to send it to me for approval. When I approve it, I download it, I post it. I still have full control over my Instagram. Nobody's logged into my Instagram besides me. Do I have admins through Meta? Yes, but they don't check the DMs on my Instagram. So all the content I create on Instagram, I post it, and then they get to take it and post it everywhere else. So what I'm saying by this is really the content itself, like you have to be in it. That portion cannot be hired out when you're building a brand of yourself. Everything else can be hired out. Posting it on LinkedIn, creating the reel, adding the hashtags, doing the description, like anything you want to do. Even though the description, I still keep that job for myself because it is my thoughts, it is my business, it is my life lessons that I'm sharing, right? So those two parts I kept. I'm in the videos and pictures and I pretty much create the description. But other than that, where it get plastered, if you're turning it into an ad or not, or boosting it or not, or any other step is my VA's job. So many parts of that can be hired out, but you have to be in the video.
Totally. And the reason why I bring this up is because I've been struggling with this personally, where it's like, how much can I actually outsource? Because I've tried to outsource essentially all of it, including the description, including a little bit of the vision. And I can't, because then it's not you anymore. It's not an extension of yourself. It's someone else who can never be in your brain or completely understand the message that you're trying to present to your audience.
No, what it does have though, the emails that we are sending now, I have Carol as my email writer and she's freaking amazing. Like, granted now she's been with me probably 2 years, but the first few emails I was like, oh my gosh, no, like we have to rewrite this, like forget it, start from scratch. Now with ChatGPT, now that you can teach ChatGPT to sound like you, like it can think like you, it can talk like you, it will remember your stories, it can format into a new email with a different title and different thing. So my emails today, even though Carol is creating them and plugging them through ChatGPT, and it literally sounds like me. Like if I had to put my hand on the Bible, I probably couldn't even tell if I wrote the email or not. It is that good. So you have to use ChatGPT, and you have to, most importantly, teach ChatGPT to sound just like you. And for that, I have actually trainings on that in my Go Get 'em webinars if someone doesn't know how to set it all there.
Perfect. How do we find that? Do we go to your page and comment webinar?
Yes, exactly.
Girl, I'm with you.
No, go to Gogo's Real Estate and comment webinar on any of my posts. And the first month is free. So anybody that's listening right here, if you don't know who I am and you're like, I don't know this chick, and you don't trust me to spend $49 a month on your education in this industry, then just go there, check it out for free. And if you don't like it, cancel. And if you like it, it's going to cost you a whooping $49 a month to get smarter with me every single month. So we give knowledge. I'm huge in technology and mindset and pretty much anything that I know anything about. I bring in the expert to share their knowledge, and check it out for free. And if you don't like it, cancel it.
Perfect. So you've mentioned ManyChat, you've mentioned ChatGPT and Hey Jen. What other technology can you give us little teasers of? Because I know people should go to your webinar, but what other pieces of technology? Perfect. You're pulling out your phone. You're looking at your apps. What is there?
Go high level and ClickFunnels and Video IQ. So I'm pulling my phone out because Lindsay texted me this morning what's on the tools thing. So I wanted to make sure I cover everything. So I'm huge on owning your own data. So number one, which is not mentioned here, is emails. Like you have to figure out a way how to collect your followers' information, because think of it this way. What if you wake up one day and you don't have an Instagram account anymore and you worked 12 years to build it? Right? It could happen. So if that's the case, then you have to own your own data, which means you have to have your followers' information. And that's where the quiz comes in ManyChat. So right now my team is building a quiz in ManyChat. And so you want to put some research into that. Okay. The next one I want to talk about is CRM. So CRMs is where you're going to hold this confirmation, where you're going to store that confirmation information, where you're going to store these people's information. So all of the email addresses, the phone numbers, the names, right? Which products did they buy from you? All of that stuff. You need to be able to store it somewhere. So I used to have in the past, each of my companies used to have its own CRM program for the clients that we have in those companies, right? So I had a CRM program for this and a CRM program for that and a CRM program for this. And I was like, oh my gosh, after 9 companies, I'm like, I don't even know which company has their CRM data where. So I'm like, there has to be something else out there where I can have all of my companies under one login in different buckets. Does that make sense? So it's like I log in, I can see my Gogo memberships, I can see my bootcamp people, I can see my agents, I can see my transactions, I can see my buyer sellers, like all of that. So that one I decided to use Go High Level. It's on the tools list that we are talking about. So Go High Level is not only just a CRM program where you can host, all of your information. You can also do invoicing from there and payment processing. You can also do calls and texting from there. For each of your companies can have its own phone number and email address. You can also build websites and funnels from there. So literally everything that you can possibly need for your online dominance, you can literally get it done from Go High Level. You can build, do you know what Trello is?
Girl, do I know Trello? Yes. I also use Go High Level. So it's funny that you're bringing that up. I love it.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, tell us about Trello. Do it. Yeah.
So we used to use Trello, but now inside of Go High Level, you have that same feature when you can create projects and then you can pretty much drag them from one step to another. So for example, I'm doing my retreats and in my retreats, we have a process to the madness, right? First, they get onto the wait list. Then we send them their application. Then out of the application, we select the 20 people. Then out of those 20 people, we have to make sure they book their hotel, they book their flight, they book all of those things, right? So it's a process. So what we do is we pretty drag it from one process to another as we get them to the finish line. And that's also done inside of Go High Level. So you can use Go High Level for pretty much anything that you can think of under one login. It is not cheap by any means, but it's going to give you freedom and everybody can be logged in at the same time, task assigned, all of that stuff. So it's a lifesaver. We could not live without Go High Level. And then ClickFunnels, since you went to that thing in Vegas, I'm sure they talked about ClickFunnels, right? So I have two Camel Club awards for my bootcamp. So my social media bootcamp, my agent attraction bootcamp, those were both built on ClickFunnels. So we still use ClickFunnels to build pages, but you can also build it inside of Go High Level. It's just a little bit different. So wherever you feel more comfortable with, you can build on ClickFunnels, you can build on Go High Level. The reason I tend to lean more towards Go High Level is all the other features that Go High Level has that ClickFunnels doesn't.
Yeah, I've just scratched the surface of everything that Go High Level can do. I got it, pretty recently, but then it was really supporting of my decision to get it when I went to Traffic and Conversion Summit, and all of the digital marketers were like, Go High Level is the way. I was like, perfect. And something else, even the first one that you mentioned about emails, I think this is so important too, because you mentioned, if your Instagram gets deactivated or taken away or whatever, and that actually just happened to me with my Facebook account, it's just gone and I'm trying to get it back. But that, and again, at Traffic and Conversion Summit, they were talking about how 2024 is the year of algorithm first as opposed to follower first. And so what that means is if you're counting on Instagram or YouTube or whatever to get your content in front of everyone who has followed you and subscribed to you, that's not a guarantee. Whereas because the algorithm is choosing what it puts in front of people. Whereas if you're able to capture that information, the data, the emails along the way, email and text messages are the only platforms that still remain that are not driven by an algorithm that allows you to directly touch all of the people who have opted into you.
Exactly. You still have to be really good at it because the average opening rate is 21%. Right. And also you have to see if your email account is healthy. If not, it's going to end up in spam. So then the opening rate is going to be 0%. Right. So there is still method to the madness on the email side of things too. I'm super proud of my team. We worked really hard at our emails. I do not buy data. Right. So everybody who's in my email database have double opted in to be in there. So because of that, my opening rate is most of the time in the 60%. So somewhere between 47 to 64% of people open my email. So meaning who are in my database. Right. And we do send one email a day. So with that being said, that's like 6 people opening it out of every 10 that receives the email. That's a big deal, right? So think of it that way. If 6 people would take action, well, that doesn't mean they take action. That means they opened it, they potentially read it, right? They gave you the time of the day. When they're going to take action, that's a different rate. And you can calculate that by including a link into your email. And then you're going to see how many people actually click the link. So first, how many emails you're sending out, how many people open it, how many actually got sent, because there's a technology system too. So let's say you have 10,000 people in your database and you sent the email out today. So it should have went to 10,000 people. It's not going to. It's going to go to 9,000 some odd or 8,000 some odd. Somewhere in there, some's going to get lost. Okay. Then the next question, let's say 9,000 emails got sent out of the 10. How many people actually opened it? So you might say, okay, 6,000 people actually opened your email. Okay, out of the 6,000, how many actually clicked the link that was inside of it, right? How many watched the video? How many bought the product? So you want to track every step of your email process as well. It's just like another system of marketing. So then you can say, okay, so let's say you send out 9,000 email, only 1,000 people open it. Was it the title? right? Like you just never know. This is why it's science. You have to research everything that you do, but it's definitely another source of having control of your own audience.
I love this shit. I love like going super nerdy with the analytics and the data and setting up all of the automations to talk to each other, because there's no better feeling that like after you have done things manually to wrap in the technology and learn about go high level and different ways that you can increase open rate. And you're like, wow, my efforts are going so much further because I'm smarter.
Yes, exactly. And then I know, so one of my friends sent me this mug and it's an Excel sheet on there, like the boring Excel sheets. And it says freaking the sheets. And I was like, she's like, I'm going to get you this mug. And I'm like, that's exactly who I am. Like, I'm the biggest nerd you'll ever meet. Like my trackers have trackers. I love numbers. I love growing things. And you can only grow it if you start tracking it from day one. Like when you go from like, let's say you create an online e-booklet and the first week only 3 people buy it, but you're 3.5 months in and 150 people bought it. You're like, oh my gosh, like how did I do that? Right? You have to be able to track, because what gets celebrated gets duplicated. Meaning if you celebrate yourself for the cute little successes that you were able to achieve, then you're going to be able to do more of that because you want to get that celebration again. Right? So that's the
feedback loop. Yeah, no, I love it. Okay, last question before we had to wrap up, Gogo. What predictions do you see for 2024? And I left this vague because I want to know whatever comes to mind. What do you see for 2024?
Okay, this is not the answer that you want. I don't watch the news. I could care less what's going on in the world. I live in my own little bubble. And my predictions are that whatever you can think, you can bring. Meaning that if you can imagine it, you can have it. I don't pay attention to the market. The market can do whatever it wants. Do you think about ever like, how come that in some markets, let's say COVID or who's the president or tax brackets or whatever, how come that some people are super duper wealthy and some people are super duper poor? You know the difference? I learned it from someone. Here's the difference. The difference is different decisions in the same situation. Everybody has the same president. Everybody has the same inflation rate. I could continue. Everybody has the same mortgage rate, but still somehow some people are just loaded in real estate investments and some people can barely afford to pay for their own mortgage between the two of them. Why is that? Different decisions in the same situation. It's super simple. So if you can imagine it, you can have it. Please stop watching the news. Please stop giving those negative thoughts a space in your brain. And here's how you're going to do that. Number 1 book that everybody needs to read, if they haven't yet, it's Outwitting the Devil. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. So Napoleon Hill, everybody knows Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich in the 30s. And then he wrote this book right after that, but they didn't let him publish it for a long time. They didn't let him publish it in his lifetime. Then they asked, then when he passed away, he left it to his wife. His wife, they said to her that it's too controversial and not to publish it. So she didn't. When she passed, she left it to the Napoleon Hill Foundation. They didn't publish it until I think 2018. So it was written in the 30s, if I remember correctly. So it's like 70 some, almost 80 years later when it finally got published. And it's exactly about that. It's exactly about what you allow to creep into your brain. If you believe that the market's going to be shitty, it's going to be a shitty market for you, not for me. If you believe it's going to be amazing, it's going to be amazing. Ford said it best. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
It's true. Yes. Okay. Wrap up question number 1. What is something new that you've learned recently?
Ooh, it would be the ManyChat quiz.
Ooh, perfect.
So I bought one of those Instagram buys, right? Like it came up in my stories and it was the IG Summit recap and I couldn't make it. I was like, I'll just watch the recordings. And so I was watching Jenna Kutcher. So she was one of the first trainers and she talks about a ManyChat quiz. And I was like, what? Because even for me, I believe that one person can do a lot of things. Like I can do retreats, I can come speak, I can be on podcasts, I can be a mom, I can sell real estate, I can build a team, you name it, I can do it, right? But when I have so many different products and my audience is the same, it is confusing for my audience all the different things that they can partake in. Right? So one day I'm promoting a webinar, next day I'm promoting a mastermind, then a retreat, then a cruise, then a whatever, right? Like all of these different things that I'm going to be present in. The quiz will allow my audience to kind of go through the DMs. It's almost like they're communicating with me, but with a question base. Like, my ManyChat's going to ask a question based on their answer. My ManyChat's going to give them the answer back. So then this way we can guide them down of the path of like, do they want to know more about agent attraction, or do they want to know more about joining me at EXP, or do they want to invite me to a podcast, or do they want to attend my next retreat? Right. So all of the different things based on the questions ManyChat asks and based on their answer, ManyChat is going to guide them down on that path of the conversation so that my audience can get answers on what they are interested about. Does that make sense? So that's what I learned. And that's what I'm super excited to have it built in mind. So the idea is that we're going to have it built by Friday this week.
Oh, fun. I'm going to be looking out. I'm going to test your funnel. I'm going to see where I end up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to have to test every single one to myself, but I'm super excited to have that portion automated, which is going to be a
game changer. Yeah.
But when it's done, it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, totally. That's, gosh, and there's so much tech to come, like all the things that are little headaches now, it's just like technology waiting to exist in the next, hopefully, year. But okay, Gogo, what events are you going to this year?
A few things. So I got asked to do a TED Talk in Romania. So the first time ever, I'm going to be doing a talking on stage in Hungarian in my own language. So I'm like, whoa, I don't even know if I can do this. Because all of the English and the soul searching and the mindset and the system and the technology and the finances and the investment and anything that I know anything about, I learned it in English. I learned it after I moved to the US, right? So I don't even know if I have the right terminology in my own native language. So I'm super excited about that. That's going to be in April. And then I just got asked to speak and on a cruise going to be like a 4-day mastermind on a cruise. I also have my own retreat. So if anybody comments retreat and you want to come spend a weekend with me in the end of February, just go comment retreat. So that's going to be at our beach condo in Florida. And pretty much every month I'm speaking. So every Tuesday at 11, I'm doing a podcast. So hundreds of hours of podcasts every single year. And, all of these speaking engagement as they're coming in. Oh, and I get to meet Tony Robbins this year. I know, I'm so excited. So last year we did a influencers challenge with Krista Mayshore and myself together. We teamed up and with many other influencers, with the Brendon Bouchards of the world. And we ended up coming in at second place out of hundreds and hundreds of people. And the top 10 gets to meet Tony Robbins. So I get to meet him this year.
I want to know what the challenge was. Real quick. Do you have enough time? Yeah,
so the challenge was I guess Tony and Dean Graziosi, they do a big, huge class, right? And then this year was about Launchpad, which is it was their training of how to build a funnel that you can actually sell a product on. So they taught our people how to build a funnel. And then the people who bought through our affiliate link, like mine and Krista's, I threw in a 4 weeks training on agent attraction and training on lead generation for sellers. So we took Tony's trainings, we had it on mine and we had it of Krista's, and then people pretty much paid the same price as if they only bought Tony's training but got mine and Krista's on top of it. So that's how we ended up getting in second place, is that we threw in at our courses almost for free.
The bonus. It's like Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers book. He talks about the bonuses. But anyway,
exactly.
Okay.
We were the bonuses. Okay, the bonus is I get to meet Tony Robbins, which that man changed my life. So it's going to be it's going to make my year.
Dude, I'm stoked for you. That's super exciting. Yeah. Gogo, how can listeners help you in your business? What actions do you want them to take?
Oh, that's awesome. I think the question is, how can I help you? I like to live my life I'm technically retired. Just don't tell my husband. Because I don't do retirement very well, right? So I love to live my life by the saying of Zig Ziglar that you can have absolutely anything in life, the more people you help to get what they want. So if I can help you to get what you want, if I've been where you want to go and there's an answer to your question, please don't hesitate ever to reach out to me on Instagram on Gogo's Real Estate. I answer every single DM myself until it gets to the point where I can't. I still can, because everyone else I have virtual assistants, so they answer every other platform. So if there is anything I can help you with, guys, please don't hesitate. Come to my Gogo's Real Estate Instagram ask me anything. If you want to learn from me, the cheapest possible way is my webinars. So if you comment webinar and any of my posts, it's going to take you to Go Get 'em. And Go Get 'em, I started that with the idea of a knowledge library, because I am so blessed with amazing people and amazing smart people in this industry and really the entrepreneurial world that I got to meet and I get to learn from. So what I do is I invite them, they come and bring their knowledge, and then I share that knowledge. That's pretty much what Go Get 'em is. And then if anybody wants to do agent attraction, they can go to Gogo's Bootcamp. That's how I built the $1,300 nationwide team. We did $2.1 billion in sales with a B in 2023 in 1 year alone. So, I mean, I have my hands in a little bit of everything, but really if they just come to Gogo's Real Estate, send me a DM, I can guide them through what they need to know.
Perfect. And guys, this is like the simplest one ever. It's literally Gogo. If you just Google Gogo Real Estate, 100% she'll come up. It's the pink, blonde, sassy, highly charismatic human that you just listened to. And guys, if you want to hang out with me and Erin, the owner of the show, you can go to The Shelby Show or Erin Amuchastegui on the gram. We always want to hear from you. We love your feedback. Keep it coming. Don't hold back. Gogo, thanks again for coming on the show today. And Real Estate Rockstars, thanks for listening.